Searching for a cure to a deadly virus, a scientist created a deadly rain. Drenched victims died in screaming agony, and within just a few days, entire cities began to disappear. Before it all began, at a Danish university, Simone hurried to her exam. She was hurrying towards her class. Suddenly, her father, Frederick, arrived there and, without saying anything, grabbed Simone and made her get into his car. Simone's younger brother, Rasmus, and their mother were already sitting in the car. Frederick was extremely anxious and, without explaining anything, started driving the car very fast. He was taking them to a secret bunker in the forest, which his company, Apollo, had built. The weather was also worsening rapidly, and it seemed like it could start raining at any moment. Meanwhile, due to Frederick's high speed, there was an accident involving some cars ahead, which completely blocked the road. People, angry, started arguing with Frederick, but he didn't care about anyone. He immediately got his family out of the car and, taking them with him, ran into the forest. As soon as they reached, the first drops of rain began to fall from the sky. Frederick quickly unlocked the bunker with his fingerprint and took everyone inside. Once inside, both Simone and Rasmus were shocked, wondering why their father had brought them there. The bunker had everything they needed, food and water for several years, and even its own air processing system. Simone was about to question her father when Frederick put on a protective suit and started preparing to go outside. He simply said, "Until I return, no one is to leave the bunker." Simone tried to stop him and wanted to know the truth. Then Frederick explained that a very dangerous virus had spread in the rain outside. Whoever came into contact with it would die in agony within seconds. Frederick was the only person who could find a cure for it, so he had to go to the company headquarters immediately. As he left, he told Simone to take special care of Rasmus, because in the times to come, he could change everything. Simone was confused, but Frederick left the bunker. Soon, Simone opened the internet on her phone and was shocked by the news. Everywhere were scenes of death, destruction, and fear. People collapsed in the streets, screaming and dying in the rain. Terrified, Simone talked to her brother. Their mother said they were safe for now, but no matter what, they must not go outside. Suddenly, someone started banging hard on the bunker door. A loud knock hit the door. Rasmus thought Dad had returned. His mother forbade opening it, but he opened the bunker door anyway. A rain-drenched man collapsed outside. His skin burned. Writhing in pain, he tried to pull Rasmus out. Quickly, Rasmus's mother pulled him back, pushed the man away, and stepped into the rain. Drenched, she also became infected, convulsing. Even then, her biggest concern was for Simone and Rasmus, told them both to take care of each other. After that, Simone, crying, closed the door and went inside, trying to call her father, Frederick. But her phone couldn't connect to Frederick's, which made her even more afraid. At that moment, she remembered what Frederick had told her, that she should act normal in front of Rasmus. Holding on to that memory, Simone pulled herself together and started checking all the bunker's systems. She found out that there were several other bunkers in their city, built by the Apollo company. Simone tried to contact those bunkers, but it was no use. While checking the supplies in the bunker, she found a radio. Using the radio, she managed to contact a man who was hiding in his house's basement. The situation outside was extremely dangerous, and many people were being shifted to the nearby hospital to try to save human lives. Simone gave the man Frederick's number and asked him to call, but even after trying, he couldn't reach Frederick. Simone thought that maybe Frederick was dead too, because surviving outside was nearly impossible. Suddenly, the power went out in the whole city, breaking Simone's radio connection, and now she was left alone in the bunker to take care of Rasmus. Even after a week, when Frederick didn't return, Simone gathered her courage and planned to go outside. At night, she put on a PPE kit and reached the bunker's gate, but then she started having visions of her mother's death. Terrified, she immediately went back inside the bunker. She went back inside. Rasmus also didn't want her to go outside because he understood how great the danger was out there. In this way, slowly, a month passed. During this time, Simone often found it difficult to take care of Rasmus, but she did her best to be a good sister and look after her brother. At the same time, she kept learning about all the resources and systems available in the bunker. During this period, she remembered that some time ago, Rasmus had contracted a strange virus that no one knew anything about. At that time, Frederick himself had prepared an antidote and given it to Rasmus. Later, Frederick's company also learned about this virus and asked Frederick to submit a full report. Simone began to suspect that maybe Frederick himself had created this virus. By now, almost 6 years had passed, but Simone still had no information about Frederick. Rasmus had grown up by now and wanted to go outside to look for food because they had very little left in the bunker. At first, Simone refused, but then she thought it was necessary to go out herself and assess the danger. At night, when Rasmus was asleep, Simone decided to put on a PPE kit and leave the bunker. As soon as she stepped outside, she started seeing visions of her mother, but this time she composed herself and moved forward. Outside, she saw that her mother's body had now become just a skeleton. Nearby stood a deer, and seeing it, Simone moved ahead. There were many cars in bad condition on the road, and the whole area had become overgrown with forest. Simone ignored these things and kept moving toward her goal. She reached the hospital where people had been kept safe. Even after calling out several times, there was no response. When Simone went inside, she saw that the place had been completely destroyed. Everything was ruined, and there were bodies scattered all over the floor. Suddenly, a wolf appeared in front of her. Terrified, Simone ran into a nearby room to hide. After a while, when everything outside became quiet, she slowly came out and returned to her bunker. Once there, Simone immediately told Rasmus everything, that the situation outside was even worse than before. Now, if they wanted to survive, they would have to leave this place and find another bunker somewhere in the city. Hearing this, Rasmus decided to go out with Simone the very next day to look for another bunker. They both got ready to leave the next day and went to sleep. But suddenly, something went wrong at night. The oxygen level in the bunker started dropping rapidly, and neither of them realized it. Within moments, Simone fainted due to the low oxygen. But luckily, Rasmus heard the alarm just in time. He quickly woke Simone up and rushed her outside the bunker. Now both of them were outside without PPE kits, but surprisingly, they didn't feel any discomfort. This clearly meant that they could now survive outside without the suits. But just then, some people held them at gunpoint. These were the same people who had seen Simone wandering outside earlier. And when she had returned to the bunker, it was these same people who had cut off their oxygen supply so that they could take both of them hostage and loot the supplies inside. They locked Simone and Rasmus at gunpoint in a room inside and started searching the bunker for food and drink. But since Simone and Rasmus's supplies had already run out, they found nothing there. Seeing this, their leader Martin got angry and locked Simone and Rasmus up, preparing to leave. If they had stayed locked inside, they would surely have died. So Simone wrote on a glass, telling them that she knew where food supplies could be found. After writing this, she deliberately broke the pad that had the map of the other bunkers. Now Martin had no other option, because if he wanted supplies, he would have to let Simone and Rasmus out, since only Simone knew the locations of the others. Meanwhile, Martin looked at Simone and started remembering his old days. When he used to be a soldier, he had once been ordered to guard a bridge and not let anyone leave the city so that the infection wouldn't spread. If you've made it this far, it means you're enjoying the story, so a like and subscribe is definitely deserved. But one day, while on duty, Martin sees a woman trying to cross to the other side under the bridge with her child in her arms. Martin fires several warning shots into the air to stop her, but the woman doesn't stop. Bravely, she makes it out of the city. At that moment, Martin showed her mercy, so he didn't shoot her. A little while later, his comrades called him to a nearby tent where all the soldiers were staying. There, Martin finds out that the same woman he let go was actually infected, and after she left, many people in the tent died because of the infection. Hearing this, Martin is devastated. With the death of his last comrade, his patience also runs out. At that moment, he decides that he will never trust anyone again, no matter the circumstances. For him, survival was now the only rule. After remembering all this, Martin returns to the present and flatly refuses to accept Simone's deal. But they have no food left, and without it, they won't survive for long. Thinking this, Martin finally has to agree to Simone's proposal. He frees Simone and Rasmus and takes them outside with him. After so many years, when Simone and Rasmus step out of the bunker, the fresh air and sunlight bring relief to their faces. Coming outside after such a long time felt nothing short of a miracle. A little later, when they talked to Martin and his team, they learned that there is now such a shortage of food and water in the world that people are even killing and eating other humans to survive. Hearing this, both Simone and Rasmus are shocked. Suddenly, another group appears in the distance. They were searching for people in the area with their thermal sensor drone, so they could catch and kill them. Seeing this, Martin quickly covers everyone with aluminum foil so their body heat wouldn't show up on the drone's camera. But nearby, there were two more survivors, one of whom, a girl, runs and appears in front of Simone and the others. Simone wants to help the girl, but Martin flatly refuses. He says that helping a stranger could put the whole team at risk. But at that moment, a girl from his team, Beate, sides with Simone. Without thinking, both of them run after the woman to save her life. The woman slips near a small river and falls down. The people chasing her are about to kill her. But just then, Martin arrives and, without delay, shoots both men. Because no matter what, Martin never abandons his team, but the woman had become infected after falling into the water. Seeing this, Martin is forced to shoot her as well. This is a huge shock for Simone. She then realizes that staying on land is safe, but coming into contact with rain or standing water is still a huge risk. Even the slightest contact could infect them. After this incident, Simone leads everyone toward another bunker, whose location she remembered. It would take them about a day to get there. Before nightfall, they decide to stay in a nearby house. Inside, they find some weapons, clothes, and a few supplies from dead hunters. There are also some bottles of clean water. Seeing this, John gives the water to his sick companion, Leah. Watching their care for each other brings a smile to Simone's face. At first, she just wanted to use them to reach the next bunker, but now she feels that these people aren't bad. Gradually, Simone genuinely wants to help Martin and his team. The next morning, everyone resumes their journey. On the way, Rasmus suddenly steps into a water-filled pit. Seeing this, Martin immediately draws his gun and is about to shoot him. But Simone quickly steps in front of him and stops him. She immediately takes off Rasmus's shoe and checks his socks. Surprisingly, they are completely dry. That means Rasmus's shoe was waterproof and he hadn't been infected in any way. Seeing this, Martin breathes a sigh of relief and lowers his gun. Then they all continue their journey together and finally reach the second bunker. There, the door opens with Simone's fingerprint. Seeing the inside, everyone's faces light up. There was so much food and supplies that they could live comfortably for years. Everyone rejoices and eats their fill. But Simone feels uneasy inside, as she doesn't trust Martin and his team. Who knows when they might try to kill her? When she talks to Martin about this directly, Martin explains that Simone had been inside the bunker for 6 years, so she doesn't know anything about the outside world or people's situations. Martin was actually a good person, but the present times were such that trusting anyone wasn't easy. Still, Simone ignores his warning and goes inside the bunker. There, she sees a phone charging with childhood photos of her and Rasmus on it. This phone actually belonged to Simone's father, Frederick, who had left the old bunker and stayed in this new one for a while. Simone immediately checks the phone with Rasmus. There, she finds a video from Frederick in which he says that he is going to a headquarters in Sweden to try to make a cure or antidote for the infection. The thought immediately occurs to Simone that her father might still be alive, so she decides to go to that headquarters in Sweden with Rasmus. Simone tells Martin about this as well, hoping that Martin will help them, but Martin flatly refuses. He says that there was no danger to them in the bunker, whereas to reach the headquarters in Sweden, they would have to pass through the city, where countless hunters could be hiding. Martin thought that this could be very risky. Martin also thought that, in any case, Frederick's video was 6 years old, and he might have died by now. If he had been successful in making the antidote, Martin would definitely have found out about it. But Simon ignored what he said, and taking a few days' worth of rations, left the bunker with Rasmus. Beate also decides to follow behind with Jean and Leah because she truly wanted to support Simone. Leah herself had realized that it was only because of Simone that she was able to reach the bunker and be safe. Besides, earlier Martin and Patrick themselves were about to kill Leah, John, and Beate. In fact, at that time, the three of them didn't know Martin and Patrick and were just trapped in the same group. Martin and Patrick had caught them with the intention of robbing them, and to save her own life, Beate told them about one of her hidden hideouts. They had stored food there for several days. Martin goes to that place with all 5 of them. There, they all eat together, and honestly, they really enjoy being together. At night, Beate asks Martin to provide them with protection. Martin agrees to this, and from then on, they all stay together. In the present time, Simon and Rasmus didn't know that John, Leah, and Beate were following them. They reach near the city. On the way, they see a bus that was blocking the road ahead. Both of them were exhausted, so they rest for a while in the bus, but after a short time, they see the shadows of some people outside. Out of fear, both of them freeze right there. It turns out that those people were Beate, John, and Leah. Simon is pleased and tells them to stay safe in the bunker. But the 3 of them decide that they want to stay with Simon. They reach a nearby safe spot and start eating, but just then, a large group of hunters arrive. They have to leave immediately. While running, Simon gets separated and reaches a fence on the road, which has several missing person posters on it. Seeing this makes Simon feel very upset. On the other side of the fence, she sees a small child who was alone. It was about to start raining soon. What will happen to them now? And will they be able to reach a safe place before it starts raining or not? To find out, be sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.